question, has your rent gone up in the past year? Well, students at UNT living both on and off campus are facing higher rental prices as Denton becomes one of the most expensive college towns in Texas to live. With not one but two universities operating in the already bustling suburban Denton area, how is this affecting students? Here is what I found. Thanks, Chris. That's right. I am standing outside of UNT President Keller's office, which is within the Hurley administration building. Today kicks off a 4-part series called Meeting the President, which will air each day through Thursday. For today's part of the series, I had asked President Keller what made him go from being a university-wide to a statewide decision maker. Here is what he had to say. If you want to catch more of President Keller, his next 3 parts will be airing this week. You can catch those parts the same way you caught this one on your regular form of watching. That's all I have here. Back to you guys at the desk. When they're not on stage, they're in this building where artistry blooms, memories are made, and dancers learn to push and express themselves more than ever before. And on both sides of the Red River, organizations are pushing to make water more sustainable. Citizens all around Denison come to enjoy this park, so the city decided this would be the perfect place to install their first peri-weather warning system. This plot of land I'm standing on right now will be where the next Habitat for Humanity home will be built. And with early voting in full swing, you might be wondering who's on the ballot here in Denton. This past weekend, I interviewed all 3 Denton mayoral candidates for our series called Making the Mayors. These exclusive interviews give you an insight into each of these candidates' stories and why they are running for office. Incumbent Mayor Gerard Hudspeth kicks off our series. My first question for you is, you have been the leader of over 100,000 Denton residents for a little over 4 years. How do you represent the diversity of the Denton community through your work as mayor?
For me, the important part is being out and about and attending events.
Thanks, Brooke. I want to begin with one of the most glaringly obvious issues impacting voters across the nation, political polarization. To what extent does political polarization inhibit the election and a number of other governmental processes? Professor Loftus, we can start with you. What are your thoughts?
Well, polarization is really nothing new.
Think about the size of Dallas, now of Austin, and even Houston. Well, with that in mind, it might surprise you that Denton, Texas is the 3rd most expensive place in the state of Texas for students to live. Despite the University of North Texas priding itself on becoming the 3rd largest public research university in Texas, its surrounding infrastructure has recently come into question.
Because that's really what it is. You know, they opened up the acceptance rate, and which means more freshmen coming in, but they didn't do anything to prepare for that. So that's why, you know, all of them got pushed down, and they're the ones that got punished for it.
This is Sebastian Nava, a UNT alumni who worked as an RA in 2022. This is the same time UNT had to push a majority of its upperclassmen out of the dorms to fit its incoming freshman class.
I felt bad for all the upperclassmen because, you know, a lot of them need that place to stay in order, to feel more connected to campus.
Since then, the average rental price of student housing in Denton has risen to be above some of Texas's largest college towns. What's more is that according to the 2023 U.S. Census, Denton is one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. During my interview with UNT's new president, Harrison Keller, I made sure to ask him about his thoughts on this issue.
So if you're thinking about like your traditional on-campus degree program, you know, there's a certain kind of infrastructure that needs to be there, as you alluded to. In your housing, we need more housing. We need better parking. We need to make sure that we've got the classroom facilities and we've got the kind of campus that's going to allow us to provide a world-class educational experience for all the students that are enrolled in those kinds of programs.
However, this year's enrollment has gone down as declared by President Harrison Keller in his first Faculty Senate meeting.
You're forgetting these are, 19, 20-year-olds who lived at home their whole life. The thought of, getting an apartment and paying rent and actually like, it can be a little bit, it can be anxiety filled.
This housing resource declined an interview, they did let me know that they are available to help students navigate the difficulties of becoming a new student renter. That's all I have here. Back to you guys at the desk. Alongside Denton's busiest road is where you can find a little taste of Chicago. Portillos is one of Denton's newest restaurants, and unlike most, Portillos has the power to bring two communities from across the country together.
This is just one of our many, many attributes to the city of Denton, and seeing how everyone came out to support us, our community partners when we did our opening, just the number of people that were here for our ribbon cutting. It was really humbling to see how many people were just as excited to have Portillos as we were to bring Portillos to Denton.
So I walk in and everything's new, everything's super shiny, so it's an awesome feeling.
Founded in 1963 by Mr. Dick Portillo, his goal was to bring the taste of Chicago all over the country, and saying that this restaurant hooked me up is an understatement with all of these amazing Chicago-style dishes sitting in front of me. But before I dig in, Miss Lean and Mr. Harrell take me back to show me how Portillos makes the iconic Chicago-style hot dog. After all of that thought, prep, work, and assembly, it is now time to try Portillos' famous Chicago-style hot dog. I love it. While the food finds its way into Denton's heart, so does the Portillos community.
I mean, coming into a Portillos is an experience, right? The sights, the sounds, the smells, and just how many people stop me in this building and tell me that they were from Chicago or they went to Chicago and that's how they came to find Portillos. So it was just really heartwarming, you know, to hear how well we were received by the city of Denton.
Portillos' diverse menu hits all corners of Chicago-style street food and each uniquely flavored item. They hooked me up with this amazing Chicago-style sampler and I ate it all. And as you can tell, I didn't really like it. Just kidding. I am definitely not the only one in the Denton area who has found their newest addiction.
I can't get enough. I keep saying, I think that they psychologically are manipulating me to tap into my native Chicago roots and just keep coming back. It's like the siren song, like Odysseus. I need somebody to strap me up to the board and just not let me go.
With North Texas Television, I'm Avery Calllens.
Reba McEntire has found a place in our hearts in more ways than one. Now with the opening of her new restaurant in Atoka, you can now taste that love along with some local meat.
News 12's Avery Calllens went to a local market today as they celebrated their opening and a partnership with Reba's Place.
From the farm to the slaughterhouse to the table, the meat processing done by Homegrown Meats is entirely done in the town of Atoka. Breaking ground today is the new storefront for the local butcher shop, Homegrown Meats. Since its opening, Reba's Place has only used homegrown meats for everything from its burgers to Reba's famous steak. This building stands as a representation of Reba McEntire's spunky personality. It will now be serving a bit of Atoka's personality as well. Gary Hidsley is a co-owner of Homegrown Meats, and he says a storefront has been in the works for 3 years.
You know, you just know that cow come to you alive, and you slaughtered it, butchered it, and put it on the table for somebody to eat in a local restaurant. It's surreal. You know, we butchered it, and it come from us.
Reba's Place is part of Atoka County's downtown redevelopment plan. When its executive director, Curtis Mortison, got closer to Reba through the development process, she made him the executive chef of her restaurant. Now he does both jobs.
Reba's developed, and we realized that we would be able to be the first restaurant to be able to premiere Choctaw beef in a major way.
Carol Irvin, Atoka's economic development director, says this greatly improves business opportunities, both for local agriculture and potential retail stores.
But our traffic count here is really driving, with the Reba's opening, a huge amount of interest in Atoka.
Reba's Place isn't just bringing in new tourists, but it is also bringing the community closer together.